Welcome to One Life Church, and thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. My name is Justin, and I'm one of the pastors here. We are a group of people committed to bringing the kingdom of Jesus to earth, one life at a time through intentional relationships. We aim to create environments that nurture family, authenticity, and a culture of investment. We believe that one life can make a difference, and we want to help you do just that. Now, whether you're exploring faith, or you're looking for a new church home, or you're seeking a deeper connection with Jesus, I want you to know that you are welcome here. Before we jump into the sermon today, I want to ask you to do two things for me. Number one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can follow along with all that God is doing in and through One Life Church. And number two, in the description below, you're going to find a link for onelifechurch.tv. This is where you can learn more about our church and how you can get involved. If you live in the Concord, North Carolina area, I want to invite you to join us in person on a Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. You can plan your visit at onelifechurch.tv. I pray that today's sermon is an encouragement to you as you follow Jesus today and in the days to come.
The climactic scene of the movie Elf is at the very end. It's Christmas Eve night. Santa's sleigh is flying over New York City, and oh no, one of the engine fails and falls off, and there's not enough Christmas spirit to make his sleigh fly, so he crash lands in Central Park. What's going to happen to save Christmas? How are they going to get Santa's sleigh back up in the air? And that is where we land at the third point of the Code of the Elves. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. Now, I want to look at three people in this scene. Jovi, who is Buddy's love interest, the elf from the department store. Emily Hobbs, that is Buddy's stepmom, Walter Hobbs' wife. And Walter Hobbs himself. I want to look at these people because I think they provide a really good mirror to what might be going on in our own lives right now. So one of the first things Jovi, she's the one who kicks off the song, says to Buddy is, "I don't sing." But we soon find out that's not true. Really, Jovi and Zooey Deschanel is an incredible singer who's just too afraid to share her gifts with others. Maybe she tried in the past. What if she moved to New York to become famous and then had her dreams crushed by rejection? What if you had a gift rejected this year? A job opportunity denied, a dream crushed? What if the thought of putting your gifts on display once again fills you with dread and fear? But Jovi knows. The only way to make things better is by using her gift, offering it once again with no guarantees. And that's risky, isn't it? Singing means being heard, and being heard means being vulnerable. Some of us still have a song, but we've learned that it's safer to just stay quiet. But when Jovi sings, Emily Hobbs, Buddy's stepmom, is the first one to join in. And I love how imperfect it is. Her voice cracks. She's not exactly on pitch, but Emily sings loud because Emily is a believer. Emily believed Buddy from day one. She's the one who remains hopeful and welcoming even when she knows things do not feel hopeful within her family. She keeps setting the table even when her husband doesn't join her and her son doesn't want to stay. Emily keeps shining her light, even when it must feel like little more than just a flicker. And sometimes our song is little more than a joyful noise. Sometimes we sing through shaking voices with tear-stained cheeks. We hold fast to hope, even when life tries to crush it. Like Emily, we sing not because everything is easy, but because we refuse to let the darkness be the loudest voice in the room. And when we do that, oh man, that joy is contagious. If you notice, it's Emily's voice that gets the crowd going, starting with her son. And it spreads and it gets louder from there. But there's one voice that's still silent. Mr. Naughty List himself, Walter Hobbs. And Walter is the last one to sing. Of course, he tries to fake it, but his son calls him out on it. This is the man that has become so hardened by life, so callous, that it seems as though no song could ever get through. But here is a detail I noticed this year for the very first time. I want you to think back to the photo that Santa gives Buddy of his birth parents when they were young. Remember it? It's the black and white photo from the 70s that shows Susan Wells and a smiling Walter Hobbs holding a guitar. Walter Hobbs was musical the entire time. But his ambition, his focus on self, the pressure of his career, all of that caused him to forget his song. Even though none of us want to identify with Walter, I think in many ways we do. Life is tough. We become hardened and guarded to protect ourselves from ridicule and pain. We often forget what it was like to spin around and sing like we once did when we were kids. And if that feels like you, I want you to be challenged to just let down that armor. Lift your voice like you once did. Because remember, Walter's voice is the one that made the sleigh fly. It's not about perfection. It is about remembering who you were made to be. And that is why Jesus came. Not only just to save us, but to remind us who we are. To remind us that there is a song written on our hearts from the very beginning. A song that we buried under fear and weariness and selfishness and hurt. As the Jesus Storybook Bible says, it was why Jesus had come into this world, to sing them that wonderful song, to sing it not only with his voice, but with his whole life, so that God's children could remember it and join in and sing too. The best way to spread Christmas cheer isn't just singing loud for all to hear, it's remembering your song and having the courage to sing it once again.
The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. You know, music is powerful. I love music. It teaches us, it reminds us, and it molds us. And music has a way of sticking to us or sticking with us. You know, there are many songs and albums that I can still remember the first time that I heard that album or I heard that song. The one that immediately comes to mind is 1994. I was going into my freshman year of high school. I was on a school bus on my way to band camp, Somehow this little freshman, 5 foot nothing, 100 pounds, got invited to sit with the upperclassmen in the back of the bus. An upperclassman brought a boom box that was being powered by D batteries, and they stuck this album in the boom box, and this song came on called Mr. Jones by Counting Crows. August and everything after. Now, I know that's not a Christmas song, but maybe it is in the same way that some movies are Christmas movies. But that stuck with me, and I still love that album. I still love that song. Christmas is a season that is filled with music. Music that we listen to year after year. We hear songs everywhere we go, on the radio, in stores, at school concerts, or playing in our homes. We sing about joy, we sing about peace and hope and love. But for many of us, singing those words, singing about those ideas and truths, it's not always easy. You know, life doesn't pause just because it's the Christmas season. Grief still lingers, stress still presses in, relationships are still complicated, expectations still exist, bills still need to be paid, you still got to go to work. And sometimes the last thing that we feel like doing during the Christmas season is singing. Now, I'm sure you've had a moment when you can resonate with this next statement. It can be hard to sing and experience joy when life is hard. It can be hard to sing and experience joy when life is hard. Yet throughout Scripture, God's people are invited to sing, not only when life is good, but especially when life is heavy. Singing has never been reserved for the perfect circumstances. Instead, it's always been an act of faith. When we sing in difficult seasons, we are choosing to place our hope in who God is and what God has promised to do. I mean, the Christmas story itself is filled with songs that were sung in the middle of uncertainty. Think about these. Mary sings after learning that she's going to carry the Son of God, knowing that her future will be misunderstood and difficult. Her life has changed dramatically. Yes, she sings. The angels sing to the shepherds who were living ordinary, stinky, demanding lives as outcasts. Simeon and Anna praise God after waiting decades for God's promise to be fulfilled. None of them were living in easy circumstances or situations, but they sang because God was near and God was at work. That's what singing does. It reminds us that God is with us and God is still at work. When we sing at Christmas, we're not pretending that everything is somehow magically fine. We're proclaiming something that's bigger than our circumstances. We're declaring that God stepped into our broken world. Jesus was born into this mess, into the discomfort, into the uncertainty. He didn't arrive in a palace. He arrived in a stable. He didn't come to remove all of our hardship immediately, but to enter into it with us as Emmanuel. That's it. God with us. And that's not just a comforting phrase, it's a life-changing reality. It's the gospel in 3 words. It is the good news. God is with us. When life feels heavy, singing can feel like resistance. It's pushing back against the despair. It pushes back against the discouragement. It reminds our hearts of what our minds may already know, but struggle to believe in that moment. God has not forgotten us. God is still working. God is still present. Singing also shapes us in ways we don't always realize. The words we sing becomes truths we carry through the shadows. They settle into our hearts. They give language to our hope when our own words fall short. When we sing of joy and peace and hope, we're allowing God to realign our hearts with who He is and what He has promised. And when we sing together, we don't sing
alone. We're reminded that we're not alone. Sometimes the person sitting next to you is carrying the song for you. Sometimes you sing on behalf of someone who is struggling to find their voice. Our shared singing becomes a reminder that we are not in this alone. We belong, and that God often meets us through the faith of others. The angels didn't whisper the good news of Jesus' birth, they proclaimed it. They sang loudly for all to hear. Their song wasn't just for the shepherds, it was an announcement to the world that hope had arrived, that darkness would not have the final word. When we sing at Christmas, we join that same song. We sing loudly, not because life is perfect, but because God is faithful. We sing because joy is not the absence of hardship, but the presence of Christ. We sing because the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness will not overcome it. So wherever you find yourself this Christmas, whether it's full of joy or quietly carrying sorrow, let the song rise. Sing even if your voice shakes. Sing even if you don't feel it yet. Sing because God is with you. Sing because God is at work. Sing loud for all to hear. And let that song remind you that hope has come, and his name is Jesus.